much to all of you for being here. Just a couple of things, and it may have been that did we recognize Tina Horn from the Fairfax County School Board? Did we get her? I'm not sure, but she's right there in the middle. She deserves it. We got Pixie Belle, I know, maybe not, but I mean, Pixie is kind of an icon of the Democratic Party, and then is Talmadge Williams still here, the chair of the? Yes, there he is, right there, the Arlington NAACP. Right now, he's putting together the Students' Village in Arlington, which is a phenomenal. That's a legacy project, Talmadge. Thank you. I want to recognize two people who may have had, even though some folks drove for 6 hours to get here, and that's very much appreciated. I'll tell you, Jim appreciates it. Oftentimes Jim has to make that trip. He makes it far more than he would probably like, but he's always going down to Southwest. But notwithstanding that, and how far you came from, there's two folks here who invariably come to Democratic events, and they put so much effort into getting here, and that's Raynell and Amy in the front here. Now, there are lots of others I could recognize, but there's one person in particular that is the purpose for which I am here, that I do. Oh, and Danny Duncan. Do we recognize Duncan over here in the corner who heads the Northern Virginia Post? He's a Labor guy. So, you do know it's all resting on your shoulders, that all these billions of dollars these fat cats are putting in, our only hope is that Labor come in on the other side with a couple other generous liberals, but that's about what we've got to try to match, to balance it out. So thanks for all that organized labor does throughout the state. The person I'm going to introduce gets it. He's made us proud. First of all, he made a choice early on that he was going to devote himself to making this country as strong as it can be. And in all the ways that America needs to be strong, not just for those that live within our country, but in terms of the message we send to the rest of the world. Jim Webb has shown every American what it means to have strength and courage and resiliency, and to represent the very highest standards of this nation. Jim, whereas others talk about it, Jim doesn't talk the talk, but he does walk the walk. He has been in combat any number of times. He's shown remarkable courage. He has distinguished himself. And that alone would have made him an American hero. But beyond that, he has invested his personal skills, his insight, his ability to articulate issues, and he has taken all those skills to the United States Senate. And invariably, when we want something we care about to be expressed in the most persuasive way, Jim steps up and does so. Jim Webb understands what makes America as great as it is. Obviously, the strength of our military is terribly important, and the way we conduct ourselves. And Jim is a model for everyone that serves in the military in that manner. Beyond that, Jim understands that our greatness in so many ways comes from new Americans who come to this country to live out the American dream. And by doing so, they keep regenerating the American dream. They make it real and whole and inject energy and confidence, optimism in the future as they come to America. Jim understands that. He also understands that America has got to be about the middle class and those struggling to get into the middle class. So if you want to understand what has happened, particularly over the last decade, but really over the last generation, read his book. Read his books. It's good reading. You learn about America and what matters. And you realize in his most recent book that the fact that 90% of the income growth during the Bush years went to the wealthiest 10% of the people is not in America's best interests. We are about to make it happen. But Jim did so much more than just making that point. One of the things he did was to see to it, and he did this almost single-handedly. He got the GI Bill passed, which needed to, which, as we know, and he so well knows, after World War II, that was what established the middle class, established our political, our economic, our social stability by enabling people who had fought for their country when they came back, enabling them to get a college education, to get a down payment on a house, to be able to establish themselves and provide a better future for their children. So he knew also that we need to renew that GI Bill. That's the strength of America, because that's the middle class. And he enabled the middle class to have access to that kind of financial security. It wouldn't have happened had it not been for Jim Webb. But he also understands that America's strength lies in the fact that everyone matters in this great country. Everyone. And so, one of the things that has bothered him the most is the number of lives that are being wasted in prison today. It's crazy. We can't afford to do that. I'm so proud of my brother Brian, who has also stood up and fought for the rights of those who have been incarcerated. Everybody is worthy of some redemption if they make the effort. They ought to be able to participate back in society. But we're putting too many people in jail. So, again, people would not realize that Jim Webb not stepped forth and let us know about it. That's the kind of courage. That's the kind of leadership. That's the kind of really defining characteristics of what the Democratic Party is all about, that Jim Webb is all about. And so that's why it gives me such great pleasure to introduce a very good friend, not just to me and not just to you, but someone that stands up for America, will make America great, that each day in every way makes us proud that he's our United States Senator, Senator Jim Webb.